Compared to Minecraft, Hytale's combat is far more RPG focused. Instead of just swinging until something dies, every weapon has a full moveset that rewards how you play and not just what you're holding. Each weapon isn't just about damage, it's about their timing, your positioning, and using the right attacks at the right moment, and that's what really makes Hytale's combat feel deeper and way more engaging than Minecraft. Starting with daggers, these are the fastest weapons in the game and are completely built around their mobility. The light attack is a rapid series of quick stabs which let you stay aggressive while sticking close to the enemies, and the heavy attack is where they really shine. It's a lunging, stabbing attack, and if it connects with the enemy mid-air, it triggers a small AoE and knocks you backwards, creating that instant breathing room in a fight. The dagger's signature ability is a double slash followed by another powerful AoE lunge, which lets you reposition while dealing really high solid burst damage. The daggers for me are easily my favourite weapon in the game. When you start properly using the heavy attack, you can move across the map insanely fast. There are even techniques out there that let you chain the heavy attacks to essentially fly without burning any of your stamina, which is honestly really cool and really fun to get around the map using that way. And because of that movement alone, the daggers are really worth keeping on you at all time, even if you're not using them for combat, as they give you the best mobility in the game by far. Moving on to bows, these are all about a controlled range damage and keeping enemies at a safe distance playstyle. The light attack fires a quick, weaker shot that's great for poking or finishing enemies off, and the heavy attack charges up into a glowing, much more powerful arrow that deals higher damage and builds signature energy as you hold it. The signature ability for the bow fires a tri-shot, so a triple shot, giving you an extremely strong burst damage at range and making the bow surprisingly effective against tougher enemies. Personally, I find that the bows were really useful early on, particularly in the lava zone, as you'll be dealing with dangerous melee mobs that can one-shot you, as well as enemies like the toads that can put you straight into lava. Being able to deal damage from a safe distance makes a really big difference here. Next up are crossbows, and this is going to take the ranged combat in the game to a much more aggressive direction. They introduce a reload-based system that lets you store up to 6 shots at once, and because of that, the light attack becomes a rapid-fire burst, almost like a machine gun compared to the bows, and the signature ability will also fire a single massive shot that trades to speed for the raw damage. Personally, I find crossbows are especially useful against some of the stronger enemies in the game, as you can unload the equivalent of around 6 bow shots almost instantly, then swap to another weapon, for example like the daggers, and also have your stamina fully up, so you can then use the heavy attacks on the daggers, who can really burst down these enemies with a lot of damage. Moving into the heavier melee weapons now, we've got the maces. Its light attack is a wide, sweeping AoE that can be aimed by charging your movement direction, letting you hit multiple enemies at once. The heavy attack follows the same sweeping pattern, but deals significantly more damage, and the signature ability launches you into the air before slamming back down, which creates a large AoE impact around you. Maces really shine when you're fighting groups of enemies. If you need crowd control, this is easily one of the best options to go with. You can charge attacks and constantly hit multiple targets at the same time. However, the trade-off is speed. Maces are really slow, and while the damage is solid, it's not high enough to justify using them in every situation. If you're not dealing with hordes or large groups, you're usually better off sticking with a faster weapon. Moving on to swords. These are the most balanced and straightforward weapon option in the game. The light attack is a simple and reliable sword swing that works well in almost any situation, and the heavy attack is a fast, lunging strike that can slice through multiple enemies in a line. Signature ability is essentially a stronger version of that heavy attack, giving you extra burst when you need it. And because swords are one-handed in the game, you can combo them with your offhand. This lets you equip a shield for extra defense, or something like a torch for utility, making the sword very flexible overall. Trade-off is damage. Compared to the two-handed weapon zone, swords deal less damage per hit, which means you'll usually need to stay in fights a little longer to finish the enemies off. They're safe and consistent, but not the fastest option for killing the tougher mobs. After swords, we have Battleaxes, and these are going to push things much further into slow, high damage territory. The light attacks are also a large overhead swing that hit hard but take time to commit to, and their heavy attack is a powerful leaping lunge that lets you quickly close the distance, making it useful for both engaging enemies and repositioning defensively. Their signature ability is a long, spinning attack that hits everything around you, making Battleaxes surprisingly effective against groups, and thanks to their wide swings, most of their attacks can hit multiple enemies at once. While they're slow, Battleaxes do reward good timing and positioning, and if you're comfortable committing to longer attack animations, they can do some really serious damage and control space extremely well. Before moving on, it's worth quickly mentioning shields. Shields can be paired with one-handed weapons like swords or crossbows, and they give you the ability to block incoming damage and significantly reduce pressure in close fights. You can also shield bash enemies, which also adds a layer of crowd control and creates openings to counterattack at times. They're not flashy, but shields add a lot of survivability, especially early on when you're still learning enemy attack patterns. Finally, now we can move on to the staves, and these are currently the late game weapons in early access, much like a staff. They require high tier materials like silver and gold to craft, so you won't be getting one anytime early on. Staves function as ranged magic weapons and rely on specific resources as ammunition. For example, the ice staff uses ice essence, and charging its attack fires an ice bolt that deals solid damage at range. Staves are more about a controlled, deliberate combat rather than the raw speed. If you prefer playing at range and managing resources instead of stamina and positioning, staves offer a completely different playstyle once you reach that stage of the game. Moving on to spears, and these sit somewhere between the melee and ranged combat as they can be used as both. They can be found in certain chests at points of interest. I don't think they can be crafted yet though in this early access edition, but the light attack is a controlled poke, while the heavy attack throws the spear and it will impale the enemies from a distance. At the moment, the spears don't have a signature ability implemented yet though, so keep that in mind. Since Hytale has just launched into early access though, we already know there's a lot more content on the way, and many of these weapons can quickly be found in creative mode. Most aren't fully implemented yet, but some are partially usable, so let's quickly run through what we've seen so far and what they can mean for the future of the combat on the game. One of the most surprising additions is Firearms. You can already find a wide range of guns from blunderbusses and pistols all the way up to the modern AK style rifles. They're not properly integrated into the normal gameplay yet, but their presence alone is really interesting. It raises a lot of questions about how ranged combat might evolve later on, and how firearms could coexist with the bows, crossbow and magic in the game. There are also several different types of bombs available. One example is a continuous firebomb, which currently throws directly from your inventory without any proper input. This is very clearly feels like a placeholder mechanic, but still it gives us a glimpse at how throwable weapons and area denial tools could play a role in the future combat encounters. We also could be seeing the introduction of some claw-based weapons. These tribal claw attacks attack really quickly and are clearly designed for fast, close-range combat. If they're fully implemented, they'll likely sit somewhere between the daggers and the fists, focusing on speed, mobility, and an aggressive playstyle. Clubs are also another weapon type that already partially works. They fight in a similar way to maces, but feel smaller and more compact. This could position them as a light alternative to heavy blunt weapons, trading some of the raw damage for faster swings and better responsiveness. The flail appears to be mostly implemented already. It features a smooth swing animation that gives it a very distinctive feel compared to other melee weapons. If refined further, flails could introduce more time-based or momentum-driven combat. There's also a variety of totems and turrets in the game. Some are already functional, like the healing and slowing totems, which work as you would expect. Though the turrets are present, they don't actually attack the player right now, which will almost certainly change as the development continues. Kunai weapons are also another interesting addition in Hytale. They feature a charge-based throwing system shown in the bottom right UI, where each charge allows you to throw a kunai. This mechanic makes them feel very tactical and can be a strong mid-range option for fast-paced builds. Finally, it looks like we're getting to a much wider variety of magical weapons. Beyond standard staves, there are also grimoires that appear to be used for crafting spells. This suggests magic combat will expand significantly through the development of the game, with more spell variety and specialized casting tools in the future. Overall, Hytale's combat already has a lot more depth than you might expect from an early access game. Each weapon feels distinct, and once you understand their strengths, weaknesses, and how they chain together, combat becomes way more engaging. And with everything we've already seen in creative mode, it's clear this system is only going to expand over time. If you want to be ready for future updates, now's the best time to learn how these weapons actually work. If this guide helped you, consider dropping a like and subscribe for more Hytale guides as early access continues.